One. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Christine Justy of Mail Something Pretty, and I have this fun double step card to show you. I made mine a Valentine's card, but you can certainly do yours for any, I always say any season, any reason. But I did mine on Valentine's. So I'm going to show you how to put it together, and then I'm sure you can see how you can kind of substitute the papers and the theme and whatnot. So I actually even have it nicely typed out, all my directions here. So just kind of follow those. And let me actually, I think that's all in the camera. If you even want to take a screenshot of that, and I'll try to put them somewhere, either on my blog or somewhere, but at least if you have a screenshot of the directions, you can do your own as well. All right, so let me show you a few of the products I'm using today first. I'm using the marbleized paper. This is an online exclusive, so you won't see it in the catalog. Anyone can order it. It's just only shown online. But they have all these different like marbleized swirls of pinks and greens with gold. And I've been using it, so I don't have a whole lot left. But it's kind of fun. And then you can see there's different graphics on the back side. So that's the paper I'm using. And the other thing I'm using is how I made my gold heart here. You can see it actually probably better on this one. I use the die, it's right here, and it's just a nice heart like with leaves. And again, this doesn't have to be used for Valentine's. You can use certainly for anniversaries, weddings, just even to make a nice wreath out of the heart. And so it's a bundle called Heart Shaped, and that is from the Sale-a-bration. So you actually can get it for free if you have a $100, or excuse me, $120 order. What's the next page? Here it is. So free with a $120 purchase. You get the stamp set and the dies. And here's some of the examples that they showed on how to use it. So it's kind of fun. So this is what I've been using kind of for Valentine's Day. But certainly if you don't have it, you can substitute whatever you'd like. Okay, and then actually I'll just show you the last thing. I have a red heart behind the gold heart, and so I didn't have a whole lot of hearts. So from this bundle, the Hooray for Surprises, there's actually a heart in here that works with the other components. This is actually an interactive, you can make interactive boxes and cards, and I need to use it more, but this is the heart I used for the, which actually, I'm going to have to pause in a little bit because I actually don't have one. We'll figure that out as we go. Just realized I don't have one up here. But anyways, let's get started here on the construction of the card. So I'm using for my card base Real Red. And it is a regular size 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm going to score it. I didn't score it yet. In the center at 4 1/4. And then for cutting, so, actually, you know what? I have my other cutters already marked up. So I'm just going to pause it here, and you won't even notice. I'll be right back, and you'll see why in a second. While I was gone, I cut the red heart that I needed to. Okay, so here's what I want to show you. I'm going to show you two ways. I'm going to show you a way you can do and the way that I did it, and it really doesn't matter because we need to make these cuts here. And so you can kind of see it stops. They're only midway or partway through the paper, these cuts here. So that's what we need to do. So I wrote helpful tip, vertically mark the trimmer with tape. So that's what I did here. So let me show you in a second. What we need to do is we need to have this going the portrait direction, and I'm going to put it at 1 inch. And I only want to cut from the 3 1/4 mark down to the 7.5 mark. So I only want, well, the cut's going to go here. Only want to cut here to here. So one way, what I did at first, is I took a Post-it note and I put it right along my trimmer there's a ruler. So I put it at the 3 1/4 mark. So I know I could start there, and I could put another Post-it note at the, is it 7 1/2? Yeah, 7 1/2. And I know I could cut here to here. But this was a club project and I prepped them all. So that, to move all the Post-it notes was kind of a lot. So what I came up with is, and that's why I went to go get this trimmer, because it was still, I never took the tape off. I just used painter's tape and I marked it. I put the tip right here at 3 1/4, and then I put, you know, the next one at 7 1/2. So I know that I'm going to cut from this mark or line to this line. And you're going to see it's so much easier just by having this strip. And my marker, my cutting blade is not interrupted with the tape because I did it narrow. So let me show you. So I'm going to put this at 1 inch on this section. Make sure my blade is in between these two cutting marks. And on your blade, or at least for the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, and I would imagine other trimmers have it as well, there's a mark right here, because that shows me where my cutting blade is right there. So the tip, that's where it cuts. All right. So putting that at 1 inch. So now I'm going to push this up until that mark reaches that 3 1/4 mark. And I'm going to push it all the way down until that goes to that 7 1/2 mark. When I take it up, I have that cut. It's a nice cut. I don't have to worry about anything else. It cut exactly where I want it to go. Now I need to do the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it this way, so that now I'm just going to cut it exactly the same way. I'm going to put this back on 1 inch. Make sure my cutting is in the middle. I'm going to push it up and push it down. So you can see by doing so many in a row, I could just put it on and do it. I don't have to measure each time. So this tape and this ruler on the side can be really helpful for different projects. So that's how I did my 2 cuts here. All right. And so now what I'm going to do, and so you can kind of see, because I cut really on this side of the paper and this side of the paper, one's a little smoother than the other. So you could just take like a bone folder or something and smooth it out. This is being kind of picky, but anyways, it smooths that out. All right, and so I'm gonna first, before I fold it in half, I'm gonna actually take these two and I'm gonna pinch the 2 sides, those, the halfway part of the card, but kind of where I just made those cuts. I'm gonna pinch those, and then I'm gonna go down. Hold on a second. Maybe I didn't mean to. Hold on a second. I feel like I should have done something else. Ah, I did. I forgot to score something. I did these a couple weeks ago. I should have filmed this video sooner than I did. All right. So now we need to score. Oh, it works better with a scoreboard, which I didn't bring up here. It's all right. With base and landscape position and cuts on the left side. So cuts on the left side. Score at 1 inch from the top mark. So basically what I'm doing is I'm scoring from this cut mark up here, this here, where I was trying to pinch here and here. It does actually work really well on the scoreboard, but rather than stopping this, again, I'm just gonna do it with my trimmer. Same, the scorer also has the marks on the side, so I could kind of tell that's where I scored it to that cut mark, and I scored it to that cut mark, and I'm going to do the same thing. So if you're measuring, I had put this at 1 inch, and if I flip this one, I'm going to put this at 3 1/4, and then that will bring me to where these are. I'm really hoping I didn't confuse you with this whole, I should probably film another video. All right, this should make more sense now. Now I have these score lines here, so I'm going to pinch here. And I'm going to pinch on these score lines. So then when I go to close it halfway, it makes it a little bit easier. I'm definitely going to use my, if you use a bone folder or I use this little scraper, whatever you use to burnish those score lines, you want to have a nice crisp score lines because it will flop if we don't. All right, so now we kind of have that double step card. So I had actually pinched these, and so that's what you don't want to do because now it's okay, but you see how they're kind of bent and folded. We're going to cover them up so it really doesn't matter, but it just was easier to pinch here and pinch here to get it started to fold close. Whew. Okay, so really that's the basis of the card. So now we're just going to decorate it. So let me put this out here so you can see. So I have, right here. I have little sides, and that's what we're going to cover, those things I just pinched by accident. I just used my So Swirly embossing folder, and I used cherry cobbler. They're 3/4 by 3 inches, and these are just really going to go right on the side. And so it's going to, I used the wrong color. Darn it. That's all right. I'm going to just use, I use cherry cobbler on these ones. And the scrap must have been in my wrong section. So now it's just this, it's all right. It's just going to be red on red. So I'm going to open this up again. You are kidding me. My glue's not here. All right. This has been one crazy video. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. Got my glue. While I was gone, I made the right color, little swirlies. You just see it better versus the red on the red. So now I can see the cherry cobbler on the red. All right, and so when you glue these down, you want to make sure you're gluing them from this top fold down, because if you glue them, because this is going to bend, and so they fit right in nice and snug right here. So if you glued them from the bottom, and believe me, I did that on a different card, so that's a problem. So you just want to glue these from this score line down, and that is now going to cover that score line. And the reason why we have this score line in the first place is because when we scored the card in half, it created that. So we're just going to cover it. I like the So Swirly embossing folder because there's really no right or wrong side, and it kind of goes with the marbleized. All those swirls go together. Now, if I wanted to, because when you open it up, you could even put another set here, but you don't have to, but that's the inside. So you can kind of see the score line here and here, but I don't think it matters, but you have the option if you wanted to do more decorating. All right, so now when we fold that in half, can't even see. Okay, so I have already cut out my square of my marbleized paper, and I think I have that on here. And I also have a layer. So I just called the layer behind it. You can kind of see it. They're all kind of tone on tone, so it might be hard to see, but I did Poppy Parade, because there is, in this color pack, it's like Poppy Parade, red, real red, cherry cobbler, melon mambo, I think are the colors. So this is 3 1/8 by 3 1/8, and then my pattern layer is 3 by 3. So you could certainly just do the pattern layer without a layer underneath it, but I think it kind of makes it pop a little bit more. I have new glue coming in the mail today. And so I had finished the glue that I have up on this desk, and so that's why I didn't have any. And this one's almost empty, so it's a good thing some coming today. Because I really only like using the glue for my adhesive of choice. All right, so that's just going to go right on there. And then I decided to do, I have all these little strips left. And I just did, let's see which one we like better. That one works pretty good. Do we want any with gold? Maybe we'll do that one because it kind of matches. All right, and this is just, what size is it? Bottom. It's 3/4 inches wide by 5 1/4. And I didn't do a layer underneath it, but you certainly can. Then just make it a little bit smaller. There are lots of different versions of these step cards and double step cards. This one happens to have like kind of the focal be in the middle, but sometimes they're off to the side, so you have the little steps on the side. There's tons of versions of them. All right, so now I'm almost done. I have my heart, and I cut my other heart out of the gold paper, and it cuts beautifully. So you could even, if you wanted to, you could cut a different color paper and then kind of piece it back together like a puzzle. But I really just want this part. You could even put this back together. All right, so this I'm going to glue directly on top of my cherry. And it doesn't fit exactly, and I'm okay with that. You'll see. So I'm just going to put tiny little dabs of glue just on a few of the inner leaves sections. And sometimes I use my tweezers to pick it up. And put it down. And you'll see, oh, it doesn't fit exactly. You know, it's not, they weren't made to go together, but they work. Now that I just smudged on my glue, they work good enough together so that when it's on here, you can't even really tell that they're not in alignment with each other because of all the stuff going on. All right, so I need dimensionals. And this is just gonna get put right in the middle. When I was originally designing this card, I was going to have, I really like the sayings of this stamp set. My heart loves your heart. My thoughts of you are all heart-shaped. I just thought those were really sweet, and I actually like the font of the thank you. And it comes with this die, this shape right here. So originally I was actually going to put this on the bottom, which you can do, but then I kind of liked it without. And I also liked it. I put some of these hearts. These are also, these came out with the same time as that marbleized paper. Just throw a couple more hearts on here. Oop. Sometimes that happens. I'll put the adhesive on first, and I'll put the heart back on top. So it just adds a few more little sparkly hearts, and you can do as many or as few as you like. This one actually doesn't look like I put any on there. I'll have to add some. Some of them, oh yeah, they had too many. Oh, none of these got hearts. I'll have to add them. These ones do. Those ones had some hearts, and those ones had some hearts. So I have a bunch of Valentines to send out. And so on the inside, I just put like a piece of white paper. And that size is 5 1/4 by 3. I'll just put that right inside. And I will first decide who this is going to, and then I'll decide which sentiment I put on the inside. But I have on some of them, Be My Valentine. That one doesn't have anything. Happy Valentine's Day. Let's see what these guys say. Happy Valentine. I think most of them say Happy Valentine's Day. My thoughts of you are all heart-shaped. So you have a few options. So I'll stamp that in there. But that is how you make your double step card with a few of my, they're not mishaps, but forgetting a few pieces. But that's kind of how I do it. I don't edit out my mistakes. I don't edit out anything. I just kind of show you how I put things together and come up with them. So hopefully you like that style. It's definitely not perfect. But I hope you like the double step card. And if you do, or you like some of the things that I do, you can check out my blog at mailsomethingpretty.com and be sure you're on my mailing list because that's where all my information goes out through email. So that's like the most important thing. And you can sign up right on my blog at mailsomethingpretty.com. There's just a little, there'll be a pop-up, and then there's on the sidebar, you can fill out your information and get that. So I'm Christine Josty of Mail Something Pretty. Thank you very much, and I hope you liked the card. Have a great day.